So third attempt. We'll see if this works here, and if we see that we have anybody come on, please let us know in the comments, because we're testing a new service. We're trying to broadcast to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn all at once. Also being able to answer questions. So we're going to try and do this at least every 1 to 2 weeks, and highlighting top producers, top managers, people that are excelling, that have good influence, and also making a ton of money, right? So at the end of the day, we want to be able to help others grow. And it doesn't matter if you work in Final Expense or with us. We just want to try and bring some value and help you take your sales career to the next step. Audio settings. So, okay. So he's texting me. Yes. Okay. And then we'll see how it's going here. So, all right, third and final time. We'll kind of just summarize. So, pretty cool getting to sit down, shoot a podcast. I know that every time that we get together, sit down, I pick up little nuggets from you and many of our other top producers and managers, and it was awesome, man. The almost 2 hours kind of flew by. Look forward to doing it again, but just wanted to kind of showcase you, just because you've accomplished so much, and you've done it in a unique way that a lot of people aren't doing. And so just wanted to see, maybe some tips or things that you're consistently doing, or maybe things that you've changed, right, to get to the level that you're at.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you to be invited, and get on, folks. As we say, information comes through me, not right, and iron sharpens iron with everybody, and the likes of you, and I'm excited.
Now, and yesterday, I know you said you'd taken out someone that had reached out to you, that seen the podcast. I think you said he was 18 years old, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, yeah. Months ago.
And then you guys, you said he watched it. He watched it in the morning, spent the time, hit you up to go out in the field. You put him in the car. You guys got out. You said maybe left about 12 or so.
Yeah, we left around 12:15 or so, 12:30, maybe. Going out, working the leads, and pretty successful day.
How many
Made over
apps you guys sell?
$830.
3 made over $800 deposited.
Well, positive. That's the full commission, and that advance, and then the rest on the,
Okay.
obviously, from yesterday's FD policies, we were able to make
I'm getting choppy audio. If anybody else is seeing this, are you guys hearing it clear, or is it just on my end? Just so I can make sure here.
My wife says it's.
What's that?
My wife said it's super choppy.
Yeah. Try messing with your maybe your audio settings. Are the yes. Yeah, maybe try toggling some of those the audio settings on your side, Eric. Maybe we're gonna figure this out, bro. Oh.
Is that me?
Go ahead and try and talk again.
Can you hear me?
I got the guy. He's going to run a test on your thing real quick. He said, let me see. Enriquez. I'm putting it in. I'm with their support. Oh, I'm getting feedback now.
Well, because I changed the audio. Can you hear me?
No, you're still cutting out on me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I got good. I tried without the AirPods, were better.
Oh, you were good right there. Talk again.
Yeah, I'm trying with the AirPods to turn on the noise cancellation, or else you're gonna hear me and you're.
Um, he's running a quick little test. He said, "Hold on,"
Okay.
and I'll tell AirPods. I'll tell him, and we'll see. Thank you, Laura, too. I appreciate that. All right. So while they're doing that, for any of you guys that didn't get to see it, definitely check out Eric's podcast. A ton of great information. Eric's been he's went out and earned over 2.3 million selling final expense. He does a ton of cold door knocking. We'll put his information as well, or I'll tag him in this video after we shoot it if it's not showing there. But definitely, if you're he lives in the Bay Area. So if you're in the Bay Area and you're in insurance, he's someone, if you'd like to do a ride along, get with him. I can tell you it's could be life changing, right? If you'll take the things that he shows you, literally change your financial situation, change your life. And, again, there's not a lot of people out there, right? It's like walking on and, the 49ers, bro, I know you're a 49ers fan, like saying, hey, I'm just going to walk on and let me play. That's literally what he's doing by putting people in the car and training them, right? The best of the best. Let's see if he fixed anything.
Can you hear me? How do
Nah, you're still cutting out for some reason. I'm going to look at, maybe if I turn mine off and then maybe. Hey, I'm going to shut mine off. Go ahead and try talking real quick, Eric. Let's see if when I shut myself off.
change some?
I couldn't hear anything.
But you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's still choppy though. I don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah, that's weird. We're there again, bro.
We'll put a pin in it. We'll try some other time. I don't know what the issue is, but I was trying to see. He hasn't gotten back to me. Let's give him maybe one more minute while we're still live, and then we can go back and delete this. But yeah, bummer. I'm super bummed. One, I see other guests joining. It's only one participant. Are you there?
Yeah. What if you put me on speakerphone on the phone?
Let's try that. Like I can actually hold you by the microphone right here, probably.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. That'll work, man. Look at you.
Should have thought about that earlier, but I don't know what's going on with the audio on this thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So again, we'll try and troubleshoot it. But if anybody has any questions for Eric, post them in the chat or in the comments, and we'll definitely have him answer that. So again, for those of you who was kind of cutting out, Eric was able to put a new agent that's getting licensed in the car, go out, make $800, and if you're not following him on Instagram and stuff too, definitely check him out. I'm gonna be pushing him to put out more content because I told him, it's whenever you're one of the best in the industry, but you're not showing people, right? Like not enough people, you're not getting the exposure. And I'm excited for what 2023 holds for you, brother. I know it's you're gonna blow up.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you're helping me out with. And you're right. I should have a bigger presence on social media. I've never really posted that much at all, but it is an advantage to do it. And yeah, for sure. After I was invited on your podcast, thank you for that. I had a gentleman who saw my ad. I sent him the podcast. We talked a little bit, had some good questions. He saw the podcast as soon as I sent it to him and told me, hey, I want to take you on that offer for a ride-along to see if I really can and want to do it so that I'll get my license. And sure enough, like you mentioned, we went out, sold 3 policies, made over $830, and he was like, yep, this is good. This is great.
Yeah.
He's like, I would have to work a full week with overtime to make $830, and if I can do that in a day, even in a bad day, I can make half of that, or every other day, I'll be way better than I was before, you know what I mean? But 18-year-old just graduated 7 months ago. So,
we're excited to get him on board and help him reach his goals and be another success story here with us.
100%. And that's, again, that's the
I can see you on the thing though. I don't know if your camera's off, but I can't see you.
I think because I flipped it. So let me, hold on.
I want to see your beautiful face, man.
Let's see if this works.
That nice hair.
What about, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. For some reason on mine too, it's only showing, let me switch back to computer view maybe. Not available.
I don't know if you care. I'm just saying. I'm just staring at myself.
Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, dude, this thing is like, I'm going to turn my camera quick. Yeah, we're having, can you see me now?
I see you.
Okay, I got it. There we go. Bam. So really, really cool, inspiring. So let's talk a little bit about your mindset, right? Because in this industry or in any business, rather, I think that's, one of the most important things that will determine someone's success is their attitude and mindset, right? Along with work ethic. Tell me kind of like how you view the business and what are like something like your core, I guess, maybe beliefs that you feel like have helped you excel above others.
I mean, that's a loaded question, but I just know that there's money in the streets and I want it.
Money in the streets and you want it.
It's
yeah.
Like, that's my mentality. There's a lot of money in the streets and I want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I just go out there and do the work, I mean, these people, we are lucky enough to work with high quality compliant leads that people request information from us, and the company tells them we're going to come down and we show up to their house and we get everything from what took so long. I need this. How much is it for me and my son? Because we just, had a death in the family. It was horrible. We didn't have anything. To get out of here. Why would you show up without calling? Or I just wanted a brochure in the mail, or I just get an email. How dare you come to my house and slam doors in your face, and everything in between, right?
Yeah.
But it's a 30% closing ratio. I had the what would you call it? Advantage, maybe, that my previous manager and friend John Berg told me about the job. So I believed everything he told me, right? I knew he's a man of integrity. I know he's a successful gentleman and is only does things that really, get results. Everything he's done pretty good in. So when he had been telling me about this for 3 years, I knew that it was just up to me. I had to be work hard, as we always say, no doubt, strong, positive mental attitude, and be coachable and teachable and follow the system. That's what I did. I was promised 6 figures in my first 12 months if I just, follow the system and work hard. And that's what I did. I've been promised other things with other businesses, other careers, and it didn't happen. So I just want to make sure if it didn't happen here, it's not going to be because of lack of effort on my end, right?
Yeah.
So I did whatever it took to make sure make it happen. And look, I wasn't the strongest closer at first, right? I believed them when they told me they'd call me in 2 weeks, I learned that in this business, you have to close on the first visit or you're not going to, be successful. I was surviving though, so, I just worked hard. I had, goals. I urgently had to start saving money for a wedding. I had proposed with, broke and hoping I had a breakthrough in my previous business, as we talked in the podcast. But, I was just hungry. Again, getting involved in sales and this type of environment at 17, for me, I was already behind. Like, I should have already been successful driving a Lamborghini at 20. That was my mindset back in the day. So I just had to make an up to do. And I finally found an opportunity that actually was what they said it was, and actually more. They said I could make 6 figures in my first 12 months if I just follow the system, go to work. And I did. And I was able to achieve that, pay for the wedding, go to a honeymoon in Hawaii, and start a family right away. Wife be a stay-at-home mom. And what they didn't tell me is that I could make $250,000 my second year. And I was blown away at the amount of money I was making, especially my second year, with that paid through and residual starting on month 13 and getting better, closing, being a sales professional and listening to the right audiobooks and being on your Monday morning conference calls every week. the Golden Memorial Wednesday calls every week, plugging into the system, being coachable and teachable. And, I was just trying to see, how high I can go in the company. Honestly, I was trying to be number one, and I fell short, but I was number 3 on the company in my second year. But shoot, I ain't complaining. I was ecstatic and, felt good about everything going on.
And so now you mentioned audiobooks. Give me a couple, like your favorite maybe, or something that you started checking out. Like what was like something that, a particular book or two that kind of stood out to you?
I like John was maybe a perfect mentor for me because he's very direct and rough around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
So Grant Cardone, everything on Grant Cardone was awesome. 10X, first of all, the Close Survival Guide. If you obsess or be average, close or be close or something like that. Like Grant Cardone was awesome. That was a wow for me. Just going hard, going hard in the paint and make it happen. So Grant Cardone definitely, he just gets the punk out of you. It's like, let's go, man. Be a boss about your stuff. Go make it happen. Help out some people. It's like, what's wrong with going out and helping people, especially in insurance? Like John told me, hey, I felt a little bit bad one time. I helped an old gentleman, and I felt like I kind of, like, he didn't really know what was going on, maybe, late 70s, but he asked for it, he wanted it, he signed, gave me a check, but I don't know, so I didn't feel right for some reason, right? And then I asked John, it's like, man, I don't know if you're worried about the sale, and like he didn't really put up a fight, and I said, give me your ID. He said, he gave it to me. I asked for a check, he gave me a check. And then he was like, hey, look, man, great thing about this business is that everybody that we help, we leave them in a better situation than how we met them. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, did that guy have any type of insurance or anything for his family? I said, nope. He said, okay, so now his family's protected, right? He signed, he did the call, he did what he had to do, and like, yeah, that's true, and I was like, dang, that's true. I'm literally selling money to people, and facilitating a service for, let's say, their funeral arrangements and final arrangements. So I'm literally helping people, their family, on the worst day of their lives. When mom dies, when dad dies, when a loved one dies, they're going to have that financial support, first of all, and also, in our case, that emotional help and assistance with their final arrangements, lifting off some burden off of their shoulders. So, once, that was clear to me, and I had the experience of my first client pass away 3 weeks after I met her, and we paid the full 10 grand after one payment.
Yeah.
The sky was the limit to me. I'm like, okay, this is real. My company pays.
Yeah.
Who can I help and bless with this,
Excellent. Well,
I go on tangents, man, but Grant Cardone is great. And the classic people, right? Anything with Anthony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, stuff like that. I love it. Anything that feeds my mind. It's funny, when I was in my previous business, they were like, oh man, you got brainwashed to join that pyramid. It's like, for sure, I got brainwashed because my mind is dirty. My mind used to think, you have to be what's oil snake skin salesman to be rich. All rich people pollute the world and take advantage of their workers. I used to believe things that I would actually repel success because I'm believing this nonsense that you see on TV and movies and stuff. It's funny how the movies, it's like the rich guy's always the evil guy most of the time, right? Except for maybe Batman. But it's in Iron Man, but it's like the successful guys always out there, scamming and being evil and stuff, and the poor people are the ones who are actually the noble people doing good. You know what I mean? And that's brainwashing. It's teaching us that to be noble and be good, you got to be poor. So that keeps a lot of people subconsciously, they didn't realize it, to be rich. Now, why I talk about it is because you got to listen to the right audiobooks and the right books to get out of that mindset and understand that anybody can be rich. And in most cases, obviously, there's always outliers. There's good cops, there's bad cops, there's good people, there's bad people, there's great entrepreneurs, there's bad entrepreneurs. And I'm talking like good people and bad people and everything,
Yeah.
So just because the media portrays rich people as always being scammy people and, bad people, it's not true. As Robert Kiyosaki says, money will just make you a bigger person than you already are, right? So if you were a bad person before the money's going to make you a bigger bad person. If you're a good person before money's going to make you a bigger a good person, you know. But it takes those audiobooks to listen to understand the concepts of how to attract success and prosperity to your life. Because I read that if you listen to audiobooks while you commute, if you listen to audiobooks for 1 year while you commute, it's equivalent to a 4-year degree in a college in business and or communication.
Are you quoting Zig Ziglar? Audio call.
I don't even know who.
Yeah.
I just act like I know stuff, and I just heard it multiple times and read it. You know what I mean? But,
it shows.
I think that might have been Zig Ziglar. Yeah.
Yeah, it shows up. Yeah, the audio college, man. It shows up in your bank account whenever you do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what was kind of like a make or break? You know, do you remember like when you first started out, like, you know, did you just come out of the gate killing it like immediately? Were you like, you know, off to the races, or like, you know, I can't remember off the top of my head what was your first month's production, or what'd you write?
I was still kind of part-time because I was with the construction with my dad, but I'm gonna say I did like about 14,000 my first month.
Okay.
Kind of part-time, January 2015. I started like mid-December, and like a week before Christmas, and then, you know, New Year's and holidays, I didn't work that much in December.
Okay.
But I did went out my first day, sold 2 policies, made over $800, was super stoked, excited, and I was like, all right, this is good. And then in January, my dad went to Mexico for 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks, I worked full-time those 2 weeks. I was like, all right, cool, my dad's gone, we're not working, no job. Let me go do this, you know, and I made a ton of sales. You know, got some momentum. It's about repetition here, so I got some good momentum on my side, going out day in and day out. Instead of, you know, like I was at first, sometimes I was working construction, sometimes days or after work. So, you know, you get a little groggy and lose some momentum. So I was able to go out 2 weeks straight, and then when my dad came back, I was like, Dad, you can't afford to pay me, man. I got to go full time with this. It does work. I got paid already. Like, I'll finish this next project with you, but I'm gotta go full time. And my dad was like, just do what you gotta do. You know, you don't gotta stick with me. If you like it and it's working out, it just hopefully it doesn't work out like your previous venture, but go out and do your thing. Like, you know, I don't gotta recruit just on me. Am I gonna go work? And man, I've been selling, and I'm bilingual, and you know, it's a good product. It works, and I want to work my web management. And he said, all right, we'll do your thing. And then I became full-time right after that. I remember, I think like March, probably I did like 17,000 or something like that. I remember John made a big deal because I did 17,000. I was just like, man, I just need money, bro. I need to pay for this wedding.
Yeah.
I wrote 17,000 on me.
So like that was like such a big thing that like I learned about you that I didn't know, like your the support level from your parents, right? That's like, you know, again, oh, I lost you again.
I'm here.
No. Okay. But yeah, you know, that support level from your parents. I mean, that's, to me, that's not something that everybody has, right? Like whether it be in a spouse or anybody. And again, it's, you know, I think that's such a huge part of people that are successful, because, you know, everybody thinks like being an entrepreneur, like is like, sunshine and rainbows, right? They see that, you know, if they see you driving the car, right? You know, you're out here, and I got to still post that video of, you know, you out there in the Hellcat, you know what I mean? Or in the Tesla or whatever. They see the fruits, but they don't necessarily look at the labor, right? All the sacrifice and the extra time that you put into protect your craft. And so like, to me, that that support at home through failures is so important. And, you know, have your parents always been like that? Have they always just kind of pushed you? And
well, definitely supportive, you know. And a quick backstory with that, and well, I'll take it one at a time. But my dad, when he was young in Mexico, he wanted to be a professional soccer player. Mm-hmm. And pretty much, long story short, my grandma talked him out of it. Right. And he was the second oldest of 9 kids. So he had to help like work and make money, or else like his brothers wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
So he kind of had to give up on his dream to help the family. So my dad had that experience, and he and my mom were like, hey, we're not going to, you know, put our kids in that situation. If they want to chase a dream, we're going to support him, obviously as long as it's good. And so I think my dad went through that himself. So he definitely wanted us to follow our dreams. So don't get me wrong. I mean, for a few years there at the end, my dad was like, man, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys are smart. You guys are talented. Like, what are you guys doing chasing this pipe dream? So it got ugly a few times, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your mistakes, and you got to grow. You got to deal with your decisions and what you do. This is my opinion, but at the end of the day, it's your life, and do what you do. Because if you mess up, it's your decision. You're not going to be looking at me and be like, because of you, Dad, I wasn't a doctor. Because of you, Dad, I wasn't able to do this or that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want no resentment towards me. But yeah, absolutely. Having to support my mom, she's like most moms, just super nice and supported definitely most of the time. I remember one time, like in the recession, right? You talk about you lost your mortgage company.
Yeah.
I remember like I broke, my dad like working for other companies because his business wasn't getting any jobs, and at least he found a job with other companies because he's good at what he does, so they would hire him. And I've never seen my dad work for anybody else. Like, as far as I can remember, he was always working for himself. But again, 2009, 2010, you have to do what you got to do, right? Put some food on the table. And then as broke as we were at the time, and obviously we were living at home still at the time, my mom bought us suits for our business. So we were super broke.
That's
and
dope.
My mom went out there and bought us suits so we can keep going to our meetings, dress nice, stuff like that. It's like, Mom, why did you even spend this money? Like, I already knew we were struggling. I'm like, Mom, why did you even spend money on these suits? Like, we have a few suits already, like, but it just shows how my mom really just believed in us and liked what we were doing and supported us. And she saw that we were sold out on what we were doing. And obviously the biggest goal that, they teach you to dream big is to retire my parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was like a thing. Oh, Mom, we're going to retire you. Mom, we're going to retire. Dad, we're going to retire you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but it did teach us a lot, and we learned a lot there, And obviously, for me, I'm just like you, Adam. I'm lucky to have my wife. I married my high school sweetheart, and I remember this one thing she told me, like in the middle of my business, with the previous business. She's like, I don't necessarily believe what you're doing, but I 100% believe in you. If anybody can be successful, it's you, and that just stuck with me. And she knew what I was about. She knew what I wanted to do. For better or for worse, being successful, it has been a top priority in my life since I was young. Some people call it, materialistic or capitalism is not good, but hey, we do live in a capitalist world, and I was very happy driving my Hellcat and my son to school this morning.
And that's another thing too, is like, the support at home, whether it's your parents or your spouse or any of those things, that's, to me, that means everything, right? Because that's that you have to have that, because you're gonna fail over and over. You're gonna feel like quitting and giving up, and so that's so crucial. But that's cool, man. That's incredible.
It's crucial, Adam, but it's not necessary, right? Because I know many people that were supported by everyone and didn't do nothing.
Well,
I know people that their parents kicked them out of their house.
Yeah.
Verge of divorce or got divorced, and they pursued their dreams. They didn't care.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hear you, and it is better if you get the support. But I know you and I both know a lot of people that did not have a support system, come from broken homes, parents are negative, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they still went out and made it happen. And some people use it as an excuse. So. And some people would argue that it makes you softer when you got a support. When you don't get support and your family, shuns you for what you're doing, chasing a dream. You build some, tough skin and go out there and make it happen sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's,
I think it comes down to the person too.
Well, 100%, man. Because I mean, if you're going to be lazy, or you're going to squander the opportunities in front of you. You know what I mean? It's because I've known people like that too, right? And some of the most talented people in the world that just don't apply themselves and at the end of the day, a lot of times it just comes down to people that are not willing to put in the work, right? There's nothing in life that you're going to be given. Unless you're trust fund baby or something, as long as you don't get kicked off, and it's, again, that goes back to mindset and attitude and like pouring in, good, right? Listening to audiobooks, reading books, getting yourself around other mentors and people that are going the same direction as you, or that are, have already achieved your goals, right? Because they can also slingshot, they can help you speed up that learning curve of how to achieve those dreams. And also, not take some of the lumps along the way. You know, we had a manager call, and I was with Mike Stambaugh and Dio and Mike Holmes, and we're talking about like our expansion and, you know, what we're doing and wanting to grow in the Florida market. And, you know, and it really comes down to, it's like anytime we're going to ask someone to do something, it's coming from a place that we want to, you know, we want to help them win, right? We want to help expedite that process and not lose the money, right? Because it's some of the biggest learning lessons in business for me anyways, has been times when I've lost money. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I lost 50 grand doing this, or, you know, 20 grand. I had an agent cost me 90 grand. Right. And it's like, man, the next time you notice a lot more red flags, you start being more cautious and pick up on those things. So
yeah, the best teacher is experience sometimes.
Yep. And what would you say? What would you say that like the like with agents that you've worked with that are struggling? What's one of the biggest commonalities that you see?
That struggle.
Yeah, people that are struggling.
Yeah, I can't say you again, by the way. I don't know if you care.
Yeah, I'm changing some settings here, so I'm
okay, cool.
Again, I'm listening to everybody. Since we're the first time on it, we're trying to get the Facebook hooked up. I got the tech support helping me too.
So the commonalities, I mean, first of all, the work ethic. You know what I mean? They don't show up, and which kind of goes in hand with they're their nicest boss, right? They're too nice to themselves. They allow themselves to start late and go home early and go home for lunch. You know what I mean? Now, you know, they're the Uber of the household, the DoorDash. They're doing laundry now. They're taking their mother-in-law to, you know, the grocery store. It's like, oh, just now because you actually can have the option to not be in a cubicle, now you're the errand boy of the house or gal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I tell people like, hey, just so you know, be careful and protect your time.
Yeah.
People are going to want to hear. People are going to ask you for favors. You know, your brother's going to know that you are your own boss now and you had to create your own schedule. Hey, can you help me move? So now, you know, they're doing all these other things except doing what they're supposed to be doing is, you know, working and knocking doors and helping people. You know what I mean? So they just get, they get a excusitis and they just, you know, somehow cannot say no to anybody no more. They got to do all these errands and do all these other stuff, you know? So that, and also honestly, being weak at the door, being weak at the closing. Too many people come into sales thinking that if you are pushy, you are evil salesperson. And I'm one of them. I thought if I was like, okay, I'm going to be the nicest agent, the most charismatic. I'm not going to push because no one likes a pushy guy.
You don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
When they get their 5 quotes, they'll call me because I was the nicest guy there. But it only took like a few months for me to realize I would either go back and they wouldn't even let me in anymore and says, we're not interested after all. We're still reviewing, or we'll call you back. Or I told you I'd call you. Why'd you show up? Or, you know, I would call them up or whatever, or they just wouldn't even answer my phone calls anymore. Or quickly, once they find out it was me, they'll just hang up. So I was like, okay, so this whole being nice agent, and really it was being a weak agent, wasn't making me the money and getting the results I wanted, you know? And I would see like the likes of Howard and all these other guys before me, Jesse Escobar, Andrew Dillon Wood, and all these other guys that have been here before me, up and there in the ranks. I'm like, how are they doing it? And I'm like, well, you know what? I bet you they're not following up with people. You know, I hear these conference calls that it's a one-time visit. Why am I not closing on a one-time visit? So, you know, just being a sales professional, calling them out and being strong and knowing that they're better with my product than without. So believing in what I do, you know, so that, and it takes, look, it's like a muscle. It takes work. It takes time. It takes repetition. It takes practice, like anything. But again, I don't have to feel bad. I'm not selling a used car that transmission might go out in a few weeks. I'm not selling a high interest credit card. Like I used to actually work at Chase for a little bit. One of the odd jobs, I was a teller, #1 teller referrer in North Bay, just saying. But or selling like a house that I know they can't afford. You know what I mean? Like I literally gonna be facilitating one of the worst days in this family's life. You know, so I can stand behind it. And some people just don't wrap their head around that they have to be a sales professional and they have to close.
Well, and I'll tell you what, you know what I'll teach you to either get out of the business or get better faster is a death, right? Whenever you have someone that you weren't able to help get a policy, you walked away and they said, oh, they were interested and they qualified and all those things. And then you follow up and it's like, I had it where it was a couple weeks later, a couple months later, and they died and the family was upset at me. And it's like, look, man, I would have rather taken the charge back and you guys have gotten the 15 grand, right? The referrals, I'm not worried about that part of it. But it made me feel terrible that, hey, I didn't do my job. And it made me look in the mirror and I had to make a decision. Either I'm going to find something else to do or I'm going to get better at what I'm doing, right? When I go out there, I'm not going to just walk out because without doing everything in my power to at least protect those people, right? And again, doing the right thing. If it's not about making money, it doesn't matter if it's a $15 policy or whatever they can afford, but finding something that works with them and putting them in a better position so that they can sleep at night and know that their loved ones are not going to have to come out of pocket if something were to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it in the podcast, right? Where I've had those situations too, where I came back and followed up and the guy had died from cancer. So I was like, dang, I wasn't able to help him out. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a wake up call. The fact that my That's fine. It's just because if I can hear myself, then I think you can't hear me. But she passed away 3 weeks after I met her. One payment, I was 3 months into the business, and one payment later, we paid 10 grand. That family didn't have to pay anything anymore. And I was like, whoa, what I was told to say is actually true. Like, we're not just saying things to say, and that family gave me a ton of referrals and gave a lot of credibility to what we're doing and gave me a lot of credibility, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was sold with that. And, again, I forgot where we're going, but
getting better, not just walking away, man. It's a one call close. So when you go out and you work your leads, because I see this a lot, maybe this is a trick question here. How much time do you spend booking appointments per week?
Booking appointments?
Yeah.
0.
So what does that mean?
With our business, because the leads are so good and the company has it down to a science, they're told we're going to come down, so we just go to their house. They were told we were coming, and we just knock on the house.
Wait, hold on, Eric. You just walk up to a door without an appointment? Is that what you're telling me?
Correct. I have the lead piece in hand. Most of the time there's handwriting.
Yeah.
All their information they typed in on the web or the information they gave on the phone when they called the TV. But yes, no, as we know, 50% of your appointments don't show up anyways, or won't be there, or will cancel beforehand or whatever. And again, we're so lucky with the way our system works. It's funny because some people don't give themselves a chance here because they've been burned before with a different company that don't even give this a shot. You know what I mean? They think it's going to be the same thing that they did before. And I'm like, no, you're not going to drive from San Jose to San Francisco to Santa Rosa in one day.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to go into one area and work 20 to 30 leads most of the time, not all the time. But if you go somewhere because there's enough leads to go out there and do something damage, it's not like you're putting all these miles in your car and you had 5 appointments and only 1 or 2 sat and only 1 bought if you're lucky. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember the stories from Mike Stamball talking about how he used to work those mortgage leads before this in the LA area. So it's like, yeah, we're lucky we don't have to do that.
Dude,
they asked for the information. They literally went out of their way to ask for information. The company sent them a pre-approach letter telling them thank you, and we're going to get this information to you as soon as possible by a visit by a local agent. No cost, no obligation. Answer your questions. Customize a plan that best fits your needs and budget. And then here we go. Delivery. I have a delivery, Adam. Right? I got to deliver information to them.
Yeah.
And I get a 30% closing ratio, making me very successful, very, very profitable. 3 sales yesterday like that, $830.
How many leads or how many doors you knock on sell those 3 policies?
Shit, sorry. You don't want to hear how many. I only knocked like on 5 doors, dude. I got lucky.
Yeah. So that's part. I
got a not home. I got a sell on the next one. I got a sell like literally. I can see the one house from the next. I can see it. I sold like 2 neighbors, but it's like I'm separated by a field. It was funny. And then an appointment actually. The 4th house was an appointment, and then the 5th appointment bought as well. She was actually a client of mine that I helped last year, and she wanted to increase already. 8 months later, wanted to increase.
Okay.
But you know, it doesn't always happen like that. Like I told Oscar, actually 6 stores. Sorry, the first one wasn't home either. But I told Oscar, like, hey, man, it doesn't always go like that. But I've had days just like this where I did sell my first 2 houses. You know, actually, I was training Quan about 2.5 weeks ago, and similar. Actually, we only knocked a few doors, but that day we ended up selling a pole door as well. We saw some ladies talking outside of the trailer park, and we went and pitched them. And the one lady happened to be interested, and she went ahead and got a policy for her and her husband. Just, you know, starting a conversation, pitching her pole door. The lead wasn't home. Cars already parked. Ladies are here. They looked of good age, middle-aged ladies. Let's go. And sure enough.
Okay. Now,
but on average, just to answer your question more thoroughly, you know, my goal is to knock 15 to 20 doors a day when I'm working leads.
okay. And if you're not, and if you're,
the magic number is actually like 18. It's crazy. If I knock 18 leads, 18 houses, like something's gonna happen.
okay.
Now,
Hey,
you do get some odd days where like not home, an appointment or 2, pitch and didn't sell, but that just means you're gonna have a killer day pretty soon. You're gonna sell 2 or 3 or 4 the next day.
yeah, that's what I remember. There was a time where it was like, man, I got beat up, and I think it was like 32 doors I knocked on leads, right? And that didn't include, I circled back out of those 32 separate houses. I probably circled back to every one of them, you know, 2 or 3 times throughout that day. And it was just like, man, just nothing's lining up that day. But then the next day I wrote like 5 or 6 grand, and it was like, but it was from all that activity, you know what I mean? And it's,
Yeah, figuring out people's schedules, you know, looking at their cars or what's in the driveway, lights are on or whatever. Yeah, so you know, you just understand what to look out for, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I remember one time, like my first time, obviously I sold my first day 2 policies.
hey, Eric,
And then
hey, hold that thought. I'm going to end this. He wants us to refresh. I'm going to send you a link, and then we're at least going to test it. We don't have to do it for a long time, but he said the Facebook should be fixed now because it hasn't been working on Facebook. And then I'll end it real quick. I'll send it to you. Have in like 30 seconds, and let's jump on the other one real quick.
Okay.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right.